Welcome to episode 373 of the Game Deflators podcast. My name is Jon, and I am joined by Santa Ryan.
Hey, everybody, here at the Game Deflators podcast, we like to talk about games. We've recently picked up games we're currently playing, and we better watch out in this week's Inflation Deflation Challenge.
All right, I'm still not reading the overall summary, but this week we played a little bit of Daze Before Christmas on I guess on the PC for us. So we played it on some open browser.
That's everybody's fate.
We played on some open browser thing, but it's on the Mega Drive, and it's also, or Genesis technically, or in the US, but Mega Drive, and also in a Super Nintendo. A pretty pricey game, but we'll get into that in our Inflation Deflation Challenge. Ryan, what else are we talking about this week?
'Twas the cast before Christmas, and out in the street, Granny Hisako was kicking ass with her feet, and Dan was prepackaged by wizards under the tree, but you bet you won't pay no MSRP. And then last but not least, you won't want to miss this. We're doing an inflation deflation. It's Days Before Christmas.
That's the best one ever. That's the best one. Love it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like the Dan with no MSRP. That's good. Okay, so you can find the Game Deflators on our website, thegamedeflators.com. We're also on social media at Game Deflators on X, at The Game Deflators on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and Blue Sky. We are on YouTube. Find our crappy gameplay footage on there, as well as our shorts and our video content that you are watching, hopefully right now. And then if you are listening, thank you for listening. You can go ahead and like and subscribe and leave a 5-star review on that great podcast application. I think that's it. Got it. Done.
Yeah.
All right. Pickups. First one for me. So this was a cool one. Every now and then I look at this game and forget that I've wanted it, right? And it's one of those I saw on like the official PlayStation magazine many years ago. Always caught my interest in the advertisements and reviews. And I finally got my hands on Sky Gunner for the PS2.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
I don't know anything about that.
Look it up. It's pretty much just like dogfights and let's see what else to say. Just different environments where you get to fly around and shoot other airships and such. Like it's just an open, trying to think of the type of game.
Cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It's not like a shoot 'em up, right? Like you're actually flying around and you're shooting stuff. So kind of cool. Like in that type of setting where you got the full view and it's like not open world, but more like the skies are available.
Yeah,
so,
that one looks like the Cowboy Bebop ship.
Yeah, it's like I like the art for it too. That's one thing that always caught my attention was the art that was tied to it. So
yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, and I got a pretty decent deal. I picked it up for with shipping. It was like $70. Nice. So that's actually a good deal for a complete in box copy of that. The other stuff I got, our buddy Brian Rigsby of Retro Game Books.
Shout out.
Yep, he released a couple books recently. So this is volumes 2 and 3 of the SNES maps he's got. So I know you and I were featured in book 1. You and I have some pieces in there on Donkey Kong Country 3 as well as Earthbound. And then here's the cover for the other one as well.
Yeah, so definitely check these out. I mean, I don't know. It's pretty close to Christmas, but if there's somebody in your life that could use these books, they are awesome.
Yeah, they're cool. They're really well made. So I like these a lot. And then I've already got all of Darren Hupkeep's books, 32-bit library. So he sells his books on Nerd. His books are actually sold out on the Retro Game Books website. Nice. But yeah, both of them are great. So produce great products.
All these awesome creators.
Yeah, and they're cool coffee table books. Like they're great to just like sit back and like crack open, have coffee or tea or whatever, and crack open a different Super Nintendo maps and just scroll through. So cool stuff. Yeah, definitely like those. And then as far as I'm currently playing, still playing Stellar Blade, the battles are picking up for me. So I am getting into positions where the battles are taking a little bit longer to get through, just because of the difficulty.
What kind of positions?
It depends. I mean, it is Stellar Blade, so it could be multiple positions. Depending if you're playing on PC and have mods, or if you're playing on your PS5. I'm playing on PS5, so probably not as many positions. But with that said, the battles are a little more difficult. I faced one last night where it was this giant, like, Neotiba that had like a flaming mace of some sort, and was jumping around and slamming the ground and like chasing me down. Like it was a cool battle, but it took me quite a while. And it didn't help that I was half asleep as well. So I'm trying to do a boss battle in this one area and I'm half asleep. Like last night, kind of the same deal. I'm like half asleep trying to get through the game. And I think I played 25 minutes and just said, all right, I can't do this anymore. But yeah, it's still fun. I'm enjoying the gameplay still. The one thing I'm having an issue with is if I'm using like my heavy weapon attack and I need to counter, I can't counter because I'm in the middle still of like my weapon attack.
You're
So
still in like your like
yeah,
recharge phase.
yeah, like the spinning and all that stuff. I'm like, ah, shit. Like, so I got to get in a better habit of comboing like the square and triangle, combination as well as other things. But I've got, melee or not melee parries down pretty well, depending on if I'm tired or not. And then I have dodging down pretty well down as well. So yeah, it's good stuff. The other thing I have here is our D&D updates. So we finished Strixhaven the other day.
It's done.
It is finally.
We've learned all our lessons. We graduated
with honors.
We gave away the couch.
Got statues. Yeah, the couch of
statues.
The magical resting couch. That was a great one. So I guess for everybody that has been paying attention, listening to our D&D updates on Strixhaven, the group made their way to the ruins of Caerdun, where you were trying to figure out how to get down into these ruins and battle Murgaxer, the bullywog that has been planning a giant ritual to try and kill everybody and get their life force and become immortal. And so you guys, we're trying to figure out how to get down there. And at some point, the ground erupted and out popped a giant creature of sorts with 6 arms and multiple eyes and destroyed you guys for the most part until you guys destroyed it. You guys made your way down the Murgaxer.
I was dead.
Yeah.
I died.
Oh, no. I TPK'd you guys at the end. It was great. So the entire group in the Murgaxer battle, what you guys didn't realize at first and what could have helped you out a little bit. So I did things a little differently. Like ideally in that fight, Murgaxer is supposed to stop his chanting and is supposed to like be behind his force field and like do all of his stuff to you guys and not really engage in combat. But I had it like I played it out to where, hey, he's still kind of doing his chanting, like looking behind his shoulder. And like at times, like when it's his turn, he's stopping. He's like, all right, blast you guys or something. Let me keep doing what I'm doing. And so I was playing it that way to kind of amp the difficulty up. If I didn't do that, I felt like it would have been a little too easy. But you guys had a situation where there was layer actions that would occur. And you guys kept rolling in golems into the layer actions, which was great because you guys had to battle them while trying to take out the force field that was surrounding Murgaxer. By the time you guys finally took down that force field, Murgaxer pretty much TPK'd the full party with his blood-bending ability where, every time it hit you guys, it was hitting you for like 60-something damage.
Like a bajillion damage.
It was a crap ton of damage. And once you hit 0, you auto-died on that. And so my wife is, of course, trying to run around, revive people. And she goes to revive someone, like, he kills you too. And you all are done. And so you guys then learned everything after that. A little bright light came out of nowhere and everybody was raised back from the dead instantly. And Future Seeker came out and was able to true polymorph Murgaxer into a little frog and throw him into a vial or a beaker of sorts. And told you all.
Is that like how it's written to end?
No, this is all homebrew. That's all homebrew.
Okay.
Yeah, so here's how the book tells you it's going to end. It tells you if a party defeats Murgaxer, they go back to Strixhaven and they graduate with high honors and everybody's excited. If they lose and they all die, Murgaxer destroys the world and he becomes immortal. That's literally how it's written out. There's like no beyond that. There's nothing. So I had this ending planned for some time. It had been evolving for a while, but I always knew I wanted to tie Joel's character Seeker in as like a member of the Auric. And the Auric initially, when they initially came into the fray, they were evil when they first came in. Like that was my thought. Like, yeah, I'm going to make these people evil. But as everything started to evolve and you had Murgaxer, I was like, yeah, so there's so many random questions. Like the Auric, the purpose of the Auric, right, and like what they fought for was correct. Like that's what they normally do. But they aren't the good guys when it comes to Strixhaven. Like they're not supposed to be
Yeah.
the good guys. I turned them actually into like anti-heroes during the course of a campaign. So what I was able to do was then pull in Joel's character, and then it made sense, right? Because his character at some point had blown up in a thing of light and then came back. Well, how would he come back? Like, what can you put in there that makes sense? And so when
Well, and did you guys like pre-plan that? Like, did he have any knowledge of any of this, or like, did
no,
he know that he was going to come back when he died?
no, well, he knew he was going to come back because he said, "Hey, I would love it if, like, he said, do with my character what you want." Basically, is how I came off when we were talking. He's like, "Hey, my character, he doesn't know anything about his past. His goal is to try and figure out his past." So that's really up to me as a DM to then say, all right, let me try and figure out your character's past. Like, what is his true
Mm-hmm.
purpose? Why is he here? Like, why is this old dude going back to Strixhaven? Like, none of it truly made sense. So as the campaign evolved, I was able to say, all right, well, there's these members of Auric and they need a leader. And Seeker doesn't know his past. And I've already started to incorporate some time travel elements into this with the Auric. And at that point, like the time travel, I kind of figured, okay, the Auric are coming from the future to try and stop Murgax, or like I already started to establish that later on in the book. And so after battle, I was like, okay, well, I need a leader. Why not Seeker? He doesn't know his past.
Okay.
He doesn't know what's going on. So if I can bring him in and say, yeah, I set myself up through magic and attached like binded my soul to Strixhaven. So anytime I died, I automatically revived in the same spot every single time. Then that could tell the story fully and give reason as to why the Auric are coming back in time and why all of this is happening. And, you know, if they're coming from the future, they were all survivors in some capacity due to
So he
Murgaxer.
lived all the way into the future, and then at some point died and came back to
So
the time that we were in.
So he was still alive in the future, right? Like he's in the future. So picture that. Every time that the world's destroyed in his future, like it's done at that point.
He's future Trunks.
Yeah, the only people that are in that future setting are Future Seeker, Future Max, and a couple others, right? Like the adult versions or older versions of your characters, some of your characters that moved on. And if you recall, there was a part in the campaign where Max and some of the other Auric in one of your dreams said, we continue to try and come back, and we've been doing this so many times, but everybody keeps dying. We're not able to get it to work. And then he mentions to you, this is the first time in all of our attempts that we have gotten this far, is what he brings up. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of their like, all right, this is working. Let's kind of continue through. In that future setting, those characters are in a ruined world where Murgaxer is running rampant, right? So they've gone back in time. And by stopping Murgaxer, what they've effectively done is stopped their future from happening. So everything that would have happened in future, like the butterfly effect thing, those future characters go away. They disappear at that point. And now new lives start from the point that you were at. Hence, Seeker now being the leader of the Aurics, should he choose to be a leader of the Auric, and should the group choose to become members of the Auric, that's the path that they would take. And then they would have whatever decisions they want to make down the road, which would eventually dictate the future, but it's not a dystopian future at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really interesting to try and tie all that together because of the time travel piece. And then of course, just a shitty layout of that book, man. It is such a horrible book to work off of. And it really did come down to probably 75% of what I did was homebrew at that point, with slight guidance from the book, and 25% is being generous.
I mean, that's not a bad way to use a book like that. Like there's the Dragon Heist book, and that one's really cool because it's like a city in all 4 seasons.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of has like different bad guys that you can kind of like just pick which one you want to be the bad guy. So it's like very diverse for running things, but I just thought it would be great to have a resource to be like, all right, if I ever need to have like an in-depth city campaign set around Christmas, like this is probably a good jumping off platform. and some rough outline. Because yeah, like working, you guys were talking about wanting me to do the Out of the Abyss again,
Well, I would
and
do
it's
it.
like,
I would do it.
yeah, I know. It's just like that is like I did not like working with that one just because it's like so when you're in the Underdark, you know, and there's like tunnels,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to make a bunch of tunnels really interesting, and it's hard to have tunnels that just go like wild places. Like you could be imaginative with it, and I think I did like an okay job, but like it just really feels like a straight line through a tunnel.
Yeah, I mean, so when I did, you didn't join me for Avernus, and when I did the Avernus campaign, but that's kind of that one's like a fork in the road type of campaign where you can choose to go to path of demons or you can choose to go to path of devils, and your enemies are different depending on which path you go. I did do some homebrew in that as well, but the homebrew was predominantly for the characters themselves. So like I had a whole like it was working off their backstories. We had the actual like campaign work and I went through everything tied to the campaign, but I tied in the backstories so that way it made greater sense. So that's where like my wife's character, which is what was she? She's a tabaxi. And she was like raised by somebody and then she murdered that particular individual. And she didn't know why, right? Like a voice in her head told her to do it. It was actually her parents who were like slave traders that took Ginny's character and brought her into the slave trade, right? So there was like this weird link of all, and I tried to link all the characters in some capacity. Like they all had a connection. They didn't know it, but by the end of the campaign, they started to learn like, well, I'm connected to you through this and you're connected to me through that. And so that was kind of the homebrew that I brought in. But the rest of it was all straight from the book. And we went through all like, you know, the city of I forget what the city is called for Avernus, but there's a city being dragged into hell essentially because it was a contract signed over by somebody at some point to devils or Asmodeus. And so the city's being dragged in, and your goal is, of course, to free that city, right, and raise it back up. So with that one, it wasn't a straight line, but it was similar to the Underdark in that it's just like this vast open world of hell, and it's just a big map and you just have like a few destinations here or there and you got to figure out like what the hell are the characters doing when they're on their way to each destination. So for things like that, it depends on how you want to approach it. So I guess for anybody DMing, like you have options. You can either have minor things occur during the travel time and play out that travel to say, all right, it's day one, here's what happens, day two, here's what happens, and plan out this going to take however many days to get there. Or you can do something I like to do and maybe have an event or two that occurs and then fast travel them. Like, hey, you spent however much time, you've been traveling for the last few days, you're fully healed, you got whatever amount of rest over the course of the last couple of days of travel, and here you are. The other cool thing of Avernus though is they had a traveling bazaar in that. And so I could actually play that in as well to have like the bazaar and little things that would happen at the bazaar. So there were a few little things like that, but I can see with the Underdark where it's like you're on a boat in the water or the Black Lake or whatever in
Yeah,
the
you guys were
Underdark.
going across that lake for like a few days.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, how do you play that out? Right. Like there's
in
only
like pitch black.
yeah. There's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
And something like that. And the same thing, like you said, the tunnels, like you had the initial city with the dragon and such. And that was really cool. I really enjoyed that part. And I don't know if you homebrewed that witch or if that's part of the one that made the stew that my character drank.
I think there was probably a witch, and then I just kind of, did character stuff with it.
Yeah, you probably homebrewed a little bit in there. So, there's only so much you can do with a book like that. You have the few cities within the Underdark, and then you have the main core part of a campaign, which is
you
a
guys
lot of
didn't even
walking.
make it out of the Underdark, and then you go back in. So there's like, that's kind of like where it ends up going. Like I really enjoyed doing my own homebrew campaign world, and I kind of have my own little like, it's like a country that's like, it is basically the size of France, but of course it has like every biome like a good D&D world should. So like I went a little bit too crazy, but there was like a magical event that kind of warped one area, and it's I've got good reasons for everything, but basically I made you could go from tip to tip, from the farthest point to the farthest point, on horsepack in like a month.
Yeah.
And the reason is because like my world has like 30-day months and like the full moon. There's this whole thing with this god and things get crazy during the full moon. So like I've made it so that travel to anywhere, that's going to take time and you can measure the time and that's going to move the moon calendar forward. So like
Yeah.
whenever you're traveling, like not only are there like possibilities of having events or something, but like all that time that ticks by really matters because where you end up when the moon is full could mean wildly different things for you.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. And I would like to play something like that. Like that sounds interesting enough as well. Homebrew it feels daunting actually.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, like homebrew feels very daunting, but if you have a general like idea of the world and what you want to accomplish, I don't think homebrew is that far off. It's like any story. Like you just have your beginning, middle, and end. You kind of figure out like where that's going to happen, and you just
Yeah.
have paths along the way that lead to that. So if there's a specific story you're looking to tell, then I mean, you could just do that. Like Joel's homebrew, we've been doing for about 5 years. And the reason it's taking so long is because we've done other campaigns in between and taken breaks and stuff. Avernus, I finished in like I think it was about 2 years, maybe 18 months. And in Strixhaven, we would have finished in about a year and a half, if not less
We
than
took
that.
a break and did that campaign that I ran for a little bit.
We did your campaign, and also Joel and Jenny had their daughter, and that was 3 months off as well. And then I think, did we start when my son was born? No, we wouldn't have started my son was born. We started we started January of 2023, I think. And then we took a break shortly after, and then we did your thing. So it was really about a year and a half of Strixhaven. So, and Avernus, that was a hilarious one, man, because before you go to Avernus, you're in Baldur's Gate, and you got to make your way to, it's El Trael is the city. But I remember on that one, were you ever there for my Grodnads, the destroyer, who was a necrophiliac orc?
No, you told me about him.
So I had him as a retired barbarian in like a forest. And so the group was looking to rest and they smelled like the smell of bacon. And I knew some characters would be like, oh yeah, I'll go like smell bacon. Like I'll head out that way. And so you get to the forest. I'm like, you find an orc and he says his name is Grodnads. And it like Joel and my wife and I think Ginny were just like, oh God, like Grodnads, like really, you brought him in this campaign? And so he's like, oh, I'm retired. The smell of battle, like I miss it and everything else. And they were all like, okay, we know what you're getting at here. But I had a battle with a giant were squirrel. And they decided that, okay, we'll help you out for the night and then we'll head out. And so there was like a big squirrel battle. When it's all said and done, Grodnads is like, all right, I need you guys to leave. Like now, I'm getting my urges of battle. And everyone's like, all right, we got to go. Like, get out. So that was some of the crazy, like kooky stuff. And I like to tie in other characters. Like in Avernus, I brought in Ornstein, actually. And he was, a fallen warlock. And he was in hell. And he was leading armies. And so the group at some point battled Ornstein and defeated him and knocked him out. So I do like to bring in like shades of a past and other campaign elements into my current campaign. Strixhaven's a little different because it was a different type of setting. But yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah, I always like to bring in the Nothic from the like original D&D like 5e adventure, the intro adventure. I like to have that as like a reoccurring character that shows up in my campaigns.
That remains as one of my favorite battles that we ever did, in the way that you positioned that for us that first time, of like this voice and the way it was speaking to us, and like how you described this creature coming out of the darkness and like slinking down towards us. Like that was I always like that.
I
one.
really loved running D&D. It's something I got to kind of get the mind bet for, because like the prep work was so much. But like back when I was like first getting into it, like I had spent so long watching YouTube videos about D&D and kind of cheating my way to like having unearned experience so that I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to do. But like I don't sit down and look for music and like work with my outline. Like I eventually came up with like a few different outlines I went through on how to like plan for sessions and stuff, and just like trying to find that time now It's so crazy. It's so crazy. Just wait. Anybody out there, old man talking real quick. As you get older, you think you're going to have all this time. Dude, I used to have like a job and go to school and run D&D. Like I could barely like sleep, eat, and go to work now.
Yeah, I'm kind of like same thing here, man. Like, God, I just
You have a
realized.
kid. You have an excuse. I
Yeah,
have no
I
excuses.
yeah, I got a kid, so that kind of makes things a little difficult. But like after recording this, I actually just realized I need to walk on the treadmill for a while because I have not worked out today. Like those are the things that I have to decide on. Like,
Worked
do I
out.
do I work out? Do I write D&D stuff? Do I watch TV? Do I play my game? Do I
Yeah,
edit
you
the
only
podcast?
have an hour to do something.
I'm literally gonna have like an hour, maybe two, an hour and a half probably when we're done with this, to decide exactly what I want to do tonight. And I actually have to do a couple short videos still for this week. Well, past week when people are listening. But yeah, no, it's crazy. But AI does help a lot, by the way. Like I was able to put in my ideas for like a lot of the backstory for the orc and things like that and say, I want him to do this. Okay, yeah, let's kind of build this out. Okay, now I want him to do this. And
Oh, I never even got to use AI for D&D stuff.
yeah, it makes it so much easier to play in homebrew stuff.
I bet.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then the thing is that as you continue to plan, you just got to be mindful that the AI is going to screw things up. So you have to continue to optimize your requests in AI to map it up to where it makes sense with what you've developed. But yeah, it's all good stuff. Okay, we should probably get into your pickups, which is
Me stuff.
done.
Yeah,
On
I
the
didn't pick up
pickups.
anything.
Yeah, all
Yeah,
good.
come on, John. It's almost Christmas. Who's buying stuff for themselves?
I have
So,
Valkyrie
anyways,
profile coming
while
in.
John's buying stuff for himself instead of presents for his wife and child,
I already bought theirs.
I was playing the Plucky Squire, which is a charming little game we both picked up recently on sale. So it is actually super charming and fun, and I really like it. If anybody hadn't seen this already, I'll just kind of start off slow, and then I'll get into like a little bit of content spoilery stuff. I mean, nothing that you're not going to run into pretty quick. And I mean, if you've watched any reviews, and it's probably a lot of it's in like the trailers and stuff, I would imagine too. Um, so you are this little squire adventurer, Jot. You're in this cute little 2D storybook world. As you know go like across the page on the map, you flip the page and then you're on the next page of the map, and it's basically kind of like a Zelda world, but you only get to see it, two open pages at a time. And as you go through, uh, Humble Grump, the bad guy, tired of being beaten by you, realizes that you guys are in a story, and he uses his magic to expel you from the storybook. And then you're on this like really creatively laid out desk of like objects that are arranged, and it's kind of feels like an adventure-y area. Um, and you kind of eventually go back and forth. You're going between the book, you're going out into like the real world and running around, and going into sticky notes and stuff on the desk. And then like there's a part where you like grab a zip line, I guess, but it's actually like a banner with like the little triangular things hanging from them, and you just like slide down, and you're just kind of like briefly going like in between the triangles as you're sliding down. It's very cute. But eventually you start to use the power of the book, and you get to do fun things like take the words, and there's like a broken bridge. Well, what if you hack that word broken out of that sentence
Or
and replace it with huge bridge?
what if you pluck the word broken and replace it with huge?
Well, first you have to attack it, and then you can pick it up.
Then you can pluck it out. Okay. Hence the
Yeah.
Plucky Squire.
Yeah, exactly, the Plucky Squire. But then you also have all these fun little like mini games. They're like just real easy, not very deep, kind of like one button games. Like there's like a little like punch out one. There's one where you have like these bugs coming at you, and you've got to like move your reticle over them and then like hold the power to zoom in and like shoot them and then like come at you. I mean, they're all easy. Like it's definitely a very like kid-ish game on the level of difficulty, but the imagination is just through the roof. The VO is just like really charming and fun. It looks like just fantastic with the art. I love this game. This is a great game so far.
Nice. I'm excited to play that one. It is on the list.
You should be.
It is definitely on the list. Well, speaking of great games that we are playing, we're going to go into our games of the year since we're at that point of the year.
Yeah.
So I will kick it off to you first for what your games of the year were. And this could be a mix of games that you played outside of our inflation deflation challenges or just our inflation deflation challenges.
Okay, this is not how I thought it was presented. I thought it was going to be just one of each, but apparently we're just doing whatever we want.
We did it last year, whatever we wanted. We talked about the games of the year, our games.
Actually, I don't remember last year. I couldn't even, I was trying to go through and find where this year started, so I knew like where the cutoff point was. But yeah, we played so many good games this year. Actually, going through them, like it was a lot of great stuff. I feel like I kind of
episode 321 when we played Sim Theme Park, top 3 inflation deflations of the year. I chose Pow World Rumble Roses and Sim Theme Park. You chose,
of course you did.
Yeah, that's true. You chose Shonen Jump's One Piece Grand Battle, Blood Omen Legacy of Kain, and Spyro Reignited Trilogy, which technically
so we're talking about
3.
This year now.
Now we're talking this year. I'm just saying, last year we did multiple games.
Well, you know what? We're going to keep that up because I saw you pick 3, so I picked 3 again also. But I picked like all games that were like super
5.
close together.
I picked 5, but go on.
Oh my God, you did. Okay. So you know what? I picked for games that we did inflation deflation. You did pick 5. You went back and added more.
No, I didn't. I did this on like literally while we were talking.
Oh no, you did 2 for your personal. Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah.
So I did Tomba. I liked Tomba. I always liked that as a kid. I found it really fun to go back and revisit. I know that they did like an HD like remake one that you can go back and play that people liked. So Tomba, great game. Check it out if you haven't. Also, legendary classic in the same status, Crash Bandicoot. We went back and played Crash 1. Definitely holds up. Definitely a super hard game. We did the Reignited trilogy, right? Or no, that's Spyro.
That was Spyro.
We did the Crash Insane trilogy.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, we did. Well, I don't think that we did the trilogy. I think we chose one of the Crash games and then said, but you can buy the the Insane trilogy.
Yeah, I did that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Crash, great. You could go back, enjoy it either way. And then Rave Race 64. I had a really good time going back and playing that. I had very good memories of being a child and going over to my friend's house and playing on his N64. Awesome game. Definitely would recommend that. And then for my personal, like outside of the podcast that I played game of the year, didn't beat it. Might be the best game. I mean, it's won the most awards and it wins my award too. Yeah, it's got to be Expedition 33. Marvelous, wonderful game. Could not recommend it enough. Had so much fun playing it until I stopped playing it. But it's a phenomenal game.
Did your wife beat it?
Yes, she did.
Oh my God, the things that happen in that household.
Yeah, she does not have the problems that I have.
Yeah, maybe you should have just like after you started getting to sit with her, just watch her play it.
Well, she played it when I wasn't around.
Oh well, then that's why I record everything. So if I'm playing a game with my wife, she can
one
watch
of the things that was hard about it was that we were both playing it, but I only have one Xbox like profile. So like she was playing it on the Xbox and I was playing it on the computer so that we wouldn't save over the other person's save.
Makes sense.
But we did it once and she had to start over and I had to like help her get back there
Makes
through
sense.
like 2 hours at the beginning again.
Yeah. That happened to me when I played Medium the medium. I think it was last
Oh
year I
yeah,
played
yeah.
medium, and I was recording, and there was like one particular part of the game where um it like did not record, like it just stopped midway through, and I didn't realize it, and so I was like, shit.
Was it a ghost?
Maybe, I don't know. But I had to replay the first, like, 3 hours of a game, and then to get to that one 30-minute period and then record that 30-minute section. Luckily, I'd already played, so I knew,
Oh,
like
didn't I have to do that with Bug Fables too?
I don't know. I don't think you did. You might have. You might have, like, had recording 1 set aside, and you uploaded everything else and forgot to give me recording 1. I don't remember.
Maybe that's
Um,
what it was.
but yeah, as far as Wave Race, I'm surprised you didn't choose the GameCube version. I know why you chose for
I didn't have any
nostalgia.
nostalgia for that one.
Yeah, I didn't either, but I thought it was a good game. Like, as far
Not
as
good enough to make your list of 5 games.
nope, not good enough to make my list. Although there are 2 GameCube games on there, so let's go into mine. So I chose Cubivore as one of my games for inflation
Why?
deflation. It was just quirky and weird. I don't
It
know. I
was
liked it.
weird.
It was super
It
weird.
was total weird.
It just so I thought to myself, what are the games that we played that like really stood out as
Man, that was so
oddball?
long ago too.
Yeah. Like one of these, I could probably say, not great. Like, there's a ton of games we played in the list. Just look at some of the ones we played. We played Dino Crisis this year. We did Clock Tower on the PS1. We played, as you said, Tomba, Wave
Kelly
Race.
Slater Pro Surfer.
Yeah, like some of the random ass games. Town and Country Surf Design. We played Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, Go Go Hyper Grind. Um, Mega Man 1 was on here. Mega Man 4. I don't even remember playing Mega Man 4, but I guess we played it.
Oh, the brutality of Paperboy.
Paperboy was rough. We played some Halo War. We played Psychosis was the first game we did in the year on the TurboGrafx 16. So some
We
really
played Cybernoid, the fighting machine.
that was actually pretty cool. I liked that one. Yeah, tons of games. Summer Games Challenge or whatever it was. That was an interesting one. So yeah, there's a ton of great games on here that we played, and very odd ones. But yeah, so Cubivore stood out as a very quirky, interesting, fun game that I could see myself playing, sitting back and relaxing and playing that game. The other game that
Falling asleep.
falling asleep while playing it, yeah, very relaxing, fall asleep. The other game I chose purely on the quirkiness aspect was Chibi Robo. I had a great time with that game, dude. Like it's expensive, but it's fun. It's got that quirky, like you gotta recharge your battery and you travel only when the family is sleeping around their house and do random tasks and pick stuff up and collect it. And it's a weird, fun, interesting game with like fun, interesting characters. And it's got that, that weird type of I don't know, that weird thing that comes from Japanese titles, like the Mr. Mosquito games that are out there. I think we played Mr. Mosquito this year as well. But it just has that quirkiness to it. Incredible Crisis, I think, is what it reminded me of as well.
Did you play Shin-Chan this year?
No, I was gonna add it to my games for 2025, but it looks like I played it late 2024. So I couldn't add it to my list, unfortunately. Um, I would have added it had it been 2025. That was my number one pick, but yeah, just didn't fall into consideration there. Um, Battletoads was the other one I selected here, just because I had a good time with that. I enjoyed playing Battletoads, and I had played it in the past, and it's a fairly difficult game in like certain areas, but it's a fun game, and it's a very easy to play and fluid game as well, even though it has that difficulty in it. But the two for my personal playthroughs this year, the first one was Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Really enjoyed that game. It to me is like almost peak Tomb Raider. The way that those like that whole trilogy of the new releases to me is like peak Tomb Raider. I'm really excited about the new ones that are going to be coming out via Atlantis, and I forget the title of the other one that they're going with, but
Yeah.
they looked great, and I'm really excited to play some new Tomb Raider titles. So after we finished Shadow of the Tomb Raider, my wife and I were kind of disappointed that there wasn't something else to follow up with it beyond like, going back and playing like remastered versions and such. So really stoked to have seen those new announcements. And the other game was Silent Hill F. I have not played or had
That
not
was a good
played.
one.
Yeah, I had not played a horror game like that in some time. And I know it's a very different style of combat and different feel from, the other Silent Hill games in the past. But to me, it was just like, I don't know, refreshing type of game in that it was different as far as like how to combat was done in the game. And while it was clunky at times, it had a good story. And you were able to really dive into this like psyche of this character and everything that was going on in her life and all of her struggles and how it all built out. So I really enjoyed playing that game. And it definitely was one of the top games for me this year. So that's about it, man.
Games.
Games of the year. So anything other than not inflation, new games resolution that you have prepped for next year or that you're thinking of playing?
Oh gosh. I mean, like I said, I've been playing Cyberpunk. But the other day I sat down and I didn't really want to get into another big Cyberpunk thing. Like, I don't know, Cyberpunk is just such a big game, and like when I sit down to play it, I'm like, all right, where do I need to go and what do I need to do? Cuz like I know that I played a lot of GTA back in the day and I played like Red Dead and stuff, but like right now with Cyberpunk, I just feel like there's so much cyber stuff that it's hard to get my head around like what I should even do. Like I spent a bunch of time last time I was playing going back to the doctor that to the Ripper Doc, who will help upgrade your cyber parts. And I got to him and I was like, all right, let's like upgrade my cyber parts. I got like 18 grand. And like his talking prompt is like, pay him back the 21 grand you owe him. And I'm like, I don't have 21 grand. So I had to go out and make some money. And then I came back and I was like, hey, I got your money. And he's like, oh, you could use that more than I could. And it's like, what the hell, man? So I'm just like trying to look at what to upgrade there. And then like the skills, there's just like, I'm already like level 15 or 16 or something. I don't know, but I've been spreading a lot of my skills out. So I haven't really gone into like the upper tech trees for many of the skills yet. I've been kind of more generalizing at the bottom of the skill tree. And I'm considering like, should I, just refund some of these points and like build up rather than wide, just because I'm not like able to do anything very well at all right now. I'm just kind of doing everything at a baseline. I haven't really gotten any like cool guns. Like I just kind of have the guns that I have. I just kind of have the clothes that I have. It sucks. There's no way to like steal a motorcycle and then save that motorcycle. And I've spent like the last 5 hours of the game without a car for some reason. And then like now finally my car is fixed. But I want to go every time I play, I want to go jack a motorcycle and drive around like I'm in like Akira. But just like so much of the like I've done another mission with like the brain dance, which is so cool because like the guy puts on these goggles or this like headset thing, and then you basically just live through somebody's memory, and you can like cycle back and forth between like paying attention to the audio or looking at thermal vision or looking at just like what they can see through their eyes, but you can also like move the camera all around the room and focus on different stuff. And like that's really cool, but it's like its own separate like whole world that you get pulled into for a minute. And this game is just like huge and I just don't really know where to go and it's hard to focus. And I was just like, I'm just gonna Plucky Squire for a bit instead, have it like a jaunty, straightforward time. um I am thinking about next year maybe trying something different. Like maybe if I get eco out of the way early, then when it comes to different times of the year, I can just play what I want instead of feeling guilty about not playing what my game of the year is. Like I really wished I could have played uh Night in the Woods this year
Mhm.
during fall because it's like a fall game. It's a game I've always wanted to play. I live like kind of in the woods now. So I thought that would be cool, but I'm just like, oh no, man, I really should be playing this other game right now instead, and then I don't. So
Yeah, I'm getting my new games resolution out of the way almost immediately. So once my wife and I finish Prince of Persia, we're gonna go right into Valkyrie profile. And our good buddy Church, who used to Game Grinder, he actually recommended that I go through with a guide. He was like, "It's difficult. You're gonna have to go through and do a guide on it, and that'll get you the best ending." So that's ultimately what we'll do, and I'm fine with that. You know, playing through with a guide. I did something similar with Suikoden 2 to try and get all of the stars and get the best ending for that one. So, you know, I'm not worried about like spoiling certain sections of a game if it means getting the best ending and enjoying the story. At the end of the day, it's a story that I'm after, right?
yeah,
And that experience that comes with a big RPG like that. But beyond that, I think I'm going to try and focus potentially on like shorter games for a bit. So jumping into like Killzone on the PS4, finish up that franchise because I hadn't finished that up yet. Um, Maybe diving into something like Sky Gunner might be one that I'll look into. um really just shorter experiences, like 5-10 hours of decent games on like PS4, PS5. Get those streaming and just have some fun with it. And then we'll see, I haven't decided yet, but I might dive into Baldur's Gate. So that's a
that's a
monster.
big one.
Yeah, but then there's also GTA 6 when that comes out. So I'm probably going to want to play that too, unless it gets delayed again.
Yeah, I've
So
been thinking also about like maybe purchasing Silk Song on the PS5 because like that's the thing. Like Expedition 33 and Silk Song, those are both games that I played on Game Pass,
yeah,
and I'm not subscribed to Game Pass anymore. So like I could either buy those on the Xbox or probably just buy them on the PS5 to bolster my library there. Like there's got to be physical copies of Expedition, but
yeah,
I
there
know
are.
I don't think there's any of Silk Song yet.
Actually, Expedition's on sale right now. I think it's like $40 for that one. And then Silk Song, I don't know. I haven't paid attention to that one for those releases, but
I don't think it's had a physical release.
I don't think so. Not yet, at least. It's not something I've been paying attention to as far as releases are concerned. But let's go ahead and jump into our articles, sir.
Yeah.
So this first one that we found is a 92-year-old grandmother has won a Tekken 8 tournament in Japan. And this one came to us by UPI.com. So super high level that in Japan they're doing. It's called the Care Esports. It's like a seniors type of tournament, and they had like 8
It's
players.
so awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. They had like 8 players from 74 up to like 92. And yeah, the 92-year-old grandma won. I thought it was great just to, you have older folks playing video games. And it kind of got me to thinking, when I'm older, right? Like what Tekken is not exactly what you would associate with somebody that's older, like a game that they would be playing. You'd associate something that's a little more mild, like honestly, like RPGs, right? Where it's turn based and there's not a whole ton that you got to do as far as,
You
button
can have
mashing and
Jeopardy
things.
on.
You could have
on the
Jeopardy
side.
on, yeah, Wheel of Fortune, whatever version is going on, reruns of that. So
Pong.
Pong, what?
Something from their youth, nostalgia.
It
Like,
won't be
see,
it's not my youth.
no, I'm
at that
talking about
point.
like you said that,
Oh, I see.
that
Yeah.
doesn't seem like a game Tekken that they would be playing. I mean, so I've always had the same thought. Like if anybody's ever spent time like in an old folks home, like walking down those hallways, some of the old folks like have their door open. It's kind of like if you've ever gone on like a school trip and you're at a hotel, like people leave the door open if they want like people to come by and say hey or whatever. Like
A school hold on. Okay, a school trip and a hotel, people, okay, I get what you're saying. Like the students leaving their doors open.
yeah,
Okay.
because it's like people will walk the halls and be like, yo, what are you doing in your room?
I was like, that's some like Chris Hansen shit right there. If like taking a school trip and the doors are open in the hotel room and everything for people to just enter. So I'm glad we cleared that up.
Oh my gosh, get your mind out of the grog.
My mind went very far from that scenario that you drew out.
So anyways, I imagine being older at an old folks home with like me and like 3 other like 70-year-old dudes like sitting around like playing N64 Mario Kart and Smash. Like that's what I imagine it's going to be like. you're going to be walking down the halls. People are going to be like, somebody's bumping rap over here. Somebody over here is bumping like Fall Out Boy. It's going to be like wild at senior homes. Like it's not going to be grandma listening to Elvis
Hey,
like
if
it used to be.
if we're lucky, it's going to be like Futurama. We'll have our brains in jars attached to robot things like Nixon. It'll be great.
I'd rather be dead.
I don't know.
But anyways, in this tournament, the winner, Hisako Sakai, she was 92. She beat her opponent, 74-year-old Goro Sugiyama, and she played as Claudio in the final round.
Who is Claudio?
And I watched the video, and it just looked like she was just like mashing, and she whooped his ass.
He probably came out with the whole like fight pad and everything, ready to kick some ass. She's like, I'm just gonna button mash and get this over with.
I mean, dude, she rocked it. She's got like 18 years on that guy.
Yeah,
and he's old.
Yeah, you got to figure 92. That's crazy. But you know what? What's the name of the guy from Mary Poppins? Dick Van Dyke. Did you? Yeah. I just saw a video of him.
I stayed at his house once.
Yeah, we all did actually. That was actually, we played a live action D&D. That was actually, yeah, now that you mention it. So I saw a video of him recently. He was doing like crunches and stuff. He's like, oh yeah, I could bang out 100 of these. Like, when was this? It was like 3 years ago.
Super Van Dyke.
He's 97 in that video, and he's like banging out like 100 crunches. I'm like, dude, I could barely get past 30.
2, 3 Mary Poppins.
But he just like gets up like it's nothing. I mean, guy's going to live forever.
Dude was a chimney sweep.
Oh man, yeah, no,
he can't stop him.
Yeah, he is. He's in good shape for a 100-year-old guy. So cool. Well, I mean, not much else on this one. It was just a quirky story I saw and figured
it's a fun story to end the year on a good note.
Yeah, and it's something else to end a year on a good note. As Wizards of the Coast is releasing their Fishy Magic the Gathering casual variant format deck, and this comes to us from ICV2.
Yeah, so if you've never heard of Magic the Gathering, I'm sure you have because we talk about it relentlessly. But Magic the Gathering is a card game, and card games all have official formats. But some people like to take those cards and then make their own game from the pieces. And that's what this is. Dan, or also Forgetful Fish, is it's a 2-player game played with one deck, all based around this card, Dan. And this game type was developed by Nick Floyd. It's an 80-card blue only or mono blue deck, and it all revolves around the fish, Dan. This creature can't attack unless defending player controls an island. When you control no islands, sacrifice this creature. So it is just a pre-constructed deck that Wizards is actually going to release versions of in Secret Lair. You're going to be able to get this, and the cards look beautiful. They actually reached out to Nick, and I guess he helped them to kind of like develop this as a product. So that's really cool for him. But I'm sure that it's all going to be purchased by bots and upsold at a ridiculous price, and it's going to be not worth it.
I don't know that this one will get bought.
Because you can make a Dan deck, I'm pretty sure, for like under $5.
You can. It's the art. Well, I don't know about under $5, but it's the artwork is what kind
Maybe not, because it's probably pretty sought after cards because everybody actually wants to make a Dan. And I saw that I saw a thing like a week or two ago. There's like a Dan for each color. There's like different versions of Dan depending on what color you want to play. So maybe this is only the first of many.
Probably for next set, but I love the artwork. It looks great. I'm not.
It's beautiful.
I'm not the biggest fan of Secret Lair stuff, but this is one of those that I will probably grab just because it looks pretty cool. But I won't be getting this.
And it's a game you can play with anyone.
Yeah,
it's not just like 5 Magic cards.
Yeah, so I think this is pretty cool. I will more than likely try to get this one.
I would love it. Buy me one,
something.
John.
Sure. I mean, if March 26th, I'll look to order 2. So,
You're the best.
and then you pay me back.
Mate, you should really be the one wearing this hat.
No, because I just said you'll pay me back. So what you can do is take the Christmas hat and put an Uncle Sam hat on me, and then that's how we'll just kind of make sure it works out. Yeah, exactly.
I want you to pay me back.
You to pay me back for those magic cards that I buy for you. No, I think it's cool. So I'm excited about it. You had brought up bots and such. Like right now, all of the avatar cards on Secret Lair are not sold out. Like there's multiple like foil and non-foil versions.
But I think all those Chocobo bundles did.
Yeah, but that's people like chasing hit cards.
Lottery tickets.
This is more of a like niche type of sale. I just don't see this being as popular as some of the other stuff, but who knows? We'll see. This to me doesn't seem like something scalpers will look at and say, oh yeah, like I definitely have to pick this up, and resell
Probably
it.
because you could just buy the cards.
Yeah. But I mean, the artwork is great, but like, what does a copy of Dan go for right now? Let's see.
I bet it's probably the most expensive card in the Dan deck, isn't it?
Probably. Dan TCG time shifted. No, it's not even that much. It is $2.38 for a damage card, or $3 for
under $10 for a basic shared deck.
Yeah, it's not. You're really
30 to 50 with more optimized or pimped versions.
Yeah, and so that's what this is. So I would anticipate this is probably going to be in like, I would think the 50 mark, probably $50 mark. So we'll see. We will see. All right. Let's dive into our inflation deflation of Daze Before Christmas, and that is DAZE, not DAYS. This is developed by Funcom, published by Sunsoft, designed by Jack Christopherson, Gottager, Bjorn Rostoen, and Tommy Sidsader. It was released in 1994. It is a platformer with an average reception of 5 out of 10. What is this game about?
Santa fights his way to save Christmas, breathe fire and become the devil, give the polar bears and the penguins what they deserve, turn mice into gifts, and bring cheer to all, far and near.
So this is a very, very simple platformer. It
is remarkably simple.
Yeah, the reason actually it has such poor reviews is because of how simple it is. You could just run straight through a level, get to the end, and that's it, like without having to do any massive
like in less than 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's crazy. So
it is very cute though. The levels are all presented as like an advent calendar, and I love advent calendars.
Yeah, so the levels are great. How it's presented, you have like really, like you said, the advent calendar, and you select the levels based on that or go to those different levels. And the platforming's okay. It's not the best. You have candy canes that you climb on and different platforms, and you can grab Santa hats, little Santa faces for life. You open presents, which have, in some cases, bombs, but in most cases, toys. And then there's mice. And then there's like tea that you can pick up, which turns you into anti-Santa, which has devil horns and like different sacks to kill enemies and break stuff. You cannot open presents, but you are invincible when you're in that mode. And then for throwing stuff, you could throw snow or sparkles or whatever it is, or tinsel.
It's like some kind of Michael Jackson moonwalker dust that turns rats into gifts, and then you collect those gifts. It's very surreal. It's wild because I think he looks like an Oni. So I always think that like this should be Japanese instead of being like a European game, because like we'll look at the price here in just a minute, but it's just a PAL game. Like it was released like in Europe and Australia, and like Australia doesn't even have winter Christmas. They have summer Christmas. They have Dune Buggy Santa. So like this is Christmas, but it's not really their Christmas, and that's like one of the only places it was released, which I also find to be funny and not really fitting for it. But yeah, it's
I would say it was
wild.
It was a fun game though. Like I enjoyed it. Like if you actually did the platforming, it's fun.
You know what this is exactly to me? When I was a kid, we had this wooden box about like, yay big, with like a slide top to it, right? And in that box was like 4 stacks of little tiles, probably about 4 high, so probably about 16 tiles in total. and it's just a match 2 game. Like little reindeer and little candy canes and little Santas. This is that same level of entertainment. It's just like a very simple, nicely packaged, like bundle of Christmas aesthetic, but in the most basic form of what you could call a game, and hold your attention just about as well. Like this was not a game that I was like, even once it was like, oh, I'm in like the ice cave level and like these platforms are like at different elevations, I could still just run in a straight line back and forth to get to the end of the level. Like it took, I think, until like the 4th level until there was actually like even obstacles that could hurt you outside of like just running head forward into a bad guy. But yeah, very, very
Yeah,
simple, but magical time of year type of game.
the reception itself, like I said, one of the reasons that it's a poor reception is the fact that it's so simple, and it's really just predominantly for kids, right? If you're an adult, it's not supposed to really hold your attention, and it's not crazy difficult. It does have, like I said, easy levels you could just breeze through. But the other thing being the music is kind of like those Christmas songs in the background.
Yeah.
So not exactly the most appealing background music. So
I
outside of
I
that,
honestly
yeah.
sorry.
No, go on. Say that.
I was gonna say, honestly, I know that this game is one of like the few like Christmas games. Like we've been Googling, we've been looking for lists of Christmas stuff. Like, I mean, we got away with Die Hard, we got away with Batman. Um, these are not exactly Christmas stuff. There's the Home Alone, there's lots of Home Alone games.
Okay,
But the thing is, like
on Batman, there is a Reddit thread for Christmas games, and people suggest Batman Returns. Just saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, these are the Christmas games we had, and this is like an actual like Santa and snowman Christmas game. And the thing is, I would honestly expect there to be a lot more shovelware like this. Like, I'm very shocked at the end of it that this is like one of the few actual Christmas games. And I'm wondering if it's just because most of that stuff was just made as like flash games, or like maybe they had like weird little Christmas games back when they passed around, like free shareware stuff. But like really, if you look back, like I'm surprised there's not like a 30 deep list of cheap shovelware Wii games, you know, just clogging up YouTube videos this time of year. Like, doesn't it seem like of all those carnival games, like 8 of them should have been Christmas themed?
Yeah,
Because all that Christmas shit's got to be like copyright free. It's so old.
yeah, Christmas is one that I'm definitely a little shocked by. I would say the one that we probably have the most difficult time with is something like a Thanksgiving, like finding anything that really fits that theme.
Well,
But like
that's
Christmas,
like just an American holiday.
no, you have Thanksgiving
and
in
not
Canada.
a very good one.
I think Canada has Canadian Thanksgiving as well. I mean, there's other similar holidays around the world, but as far as Christmas is concerned, like, yeah, I'm honestly shocked as well that there's not as many like shovelware type games specifically for that holiday, just given how it's celebrated globally.
Like, I remember Elf Toss and Elf Bowling, but that's all just internet flash games.
Well, there's some new games that came out. There's I think there's a Grinch game or something. There's definitely an Elf on the Shelf game that came out recently.
We have played a Grinch game.
Have we?
But that again, that's more than Christmas. That's like IP.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still Christmas theme.
And it was a movie tie-in. Like, where's the Santa Claus the game? Is there the Santa Claus the game? Can I play as Tim Allen?
I don't know. I just watched Santa Claus 2 before we started recording. He needs to find a wife before he loses all of his magic for Christmas.
There is for the Game Boy Advanced.
So it looks like we're playing that next year.
It's the Santa Claus 3, the Escape Clause.
Oh, that's the one with Jack Frost. Why do I know this?
So I searched it on Google, and I wound up at the santaclaus.fandom.com, and there's a whole video game section with all of the letters of the alphabet and other, and it's on page S. The
Nice.
Santa Claus 3, the escape clause.
You know, but
Like, there's no other games under any of these other pages.
You know, they released a couple seasons, like 2022, 2023, of a Santa Claus TV show on Disney Plus, and Tim Allen reprises his role as Santa.
No way.
Yeah, and he
dude, I'm rewatching Home Improvement right now. I need to go back and see this Santa Claus the show.
So obviously we have a kid, so we watched Santa Claus 1 and we watched Santa Claus 2 today. We're gonna watch Santa Claus 3 of him.
Does
but
your son like Tim Allen?
He likes it. Yeah, he likes the
Can
movies.
he do the grunt?
No, he cannot. Well, he doesn't do the grunt in the Santa Claus movie.
No.
He doesn't do that in Santa Claus movie.
He doesn't do that either?
Maybe he does in the third one. I don't know. It's been a while. But yeah, so as we were looking on Disney Plus, we saw Santa Claus, the TV show. We're like, huh. So like Santa Claus, apparently Tim Allen's decided, I'm retiring as Santa Claus, and he needs to find a replacement. And his replacements are not.
Isn't that the third movie?
Probably. I don't know. But like he's trying to get replacements for Santa Claus, and all of his replacements are ruining Christmas, and he has to try and fix it, essentially. But like people reprise their roles. So the guy that played Charlie in the original ones, he actually reprises his role. The Bernard the elf in the first, like he reprises his role as well. Tim Allen's like 70 something years old in this show. So dang. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I want to say his wife is it Elizabeth Miller or Elizabeth? I think it's Elizabeth Miller is her name.
I don't know.
That plays his wife, Carol. But now that I think about it, just notice wow. So he's Scott Calvin for SC for Santa Claus, and his wife is Carol, which totally makes sense with Mrs. Wow. Okay. Didn't catch that till now.
Hey, I just learned something today too. I was today years old when I learned, in the song, Mommy Kissing Santa Claus, Santa Claus is the dad.
Oh. Damn.
You were today years old too.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Now
right? It totally reframes that song. I've always been iffy on that song. And it's like, it is the dad. And the kid doesn't know that Santa Claus is the dad. That's why it's cute.
We just ruined Christmas for 10-year-olds listening to this podcast. We're not supposed to everywhere. All right. Well, you know what else I didn't know about until I was today years old is the complete in box copy of Daze. What is it? Daze Before Christmas. I almost said Days After Christmas. So it's before. So complete in box.
You're just dazed and confused.
I am. $746.92 for a complete in box copy that peaked at $1291.89 earlier this year. Or I don't know when, because you didn't put down a date, sir. We forgot to do that.
Oh, shoot. I've got it up right here.
Okay. In Christmas of 2022.
So it was, it peaked at loose in August of 2024, and it peaked complete in November of 2017.
Okay, so November 2017, people were prepping for Christmas and decided they were going to spend almost $1,300 on this game complete in box versus their children's Christmas presents, unless this was their child's Christmas present, at which point that child is probably very disappointed. A loose copy will run you at $200.10. That peaked at $220.82 back in, you said
July
August.
24.
I thought you said August, but July 2024.
It's both, actually. It was both month.
So it's both, same one. And that is trending down slightly. PAL Mega Drive copy, if you want to throw that in here in a second as well. A loose copy of that runs you right now $318. Actually, no, we don't have a date on this. $318.05 right now.
Yeah, this is just the current. I didn't look up the history on these.
And a complete is $819.54 on that. So obviously it deflated, right? I'm just kidding.
Obviously, there's no measure of the joy of Christmas.
No, so
immeasurable, priceless.
So this one is inflated for sure at that price point. Not worth it. I mean,
you know why it's so expensive? These games actually made by Santa.
That makes sense. Elven hands to create this, the labels and everything. All right, that makes perfect sense. Santa's got to make his money somehow.
It's like I was watching the Men in Black cartoon show with the Christmas episode. And it's like, you can't be trading in elf goods.
I remember that now that you mention it. Yeah, that's a good one. Well, I guess New Year's is next, and we've already played Fantavision in the past, so we can't go back to that one for a New Year's one. So let's find something of fireworks.
Oh, that was the one with the fireworks, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I forgot all about that.
Mm-hmm. I think we played that. I think we played it last year, right?
We'll find something new to play.
I don't remember when we played it. Actually, man, we played that the year prior, like in the 200s when we played that one. Wow. It's been a bit. Okay, there is a new Fantavision. I think.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. I don't know about that
We'll
either.
figure it out. We'll let you know.
Oh.
We'll be here.
Luminous. Let's play Luminous.
Ooh, I love Luminous.
There we go. That's our New Year's game. It's all bright and colorful like fireworks, and things explode.
And musical.
And it's musical. Yeah, Luminous. Let's do that. That's PSP, right?
Yeah. Or I think there's like 3 Luminous now. There was a brand new one that just came out. I wonder if that one has a demo.
I wonder if that one has a physical copy. Would it be PS4 or PS5? PS5.
PS5.
Luminous Arise.
Luminous Arise.
It does not have a physical copy. But
it's also VR capable.
It has a game trial, but you have to have a subscription to Premium to play the 1 hour full game trial. Yeah. So, okay, let's look at potentially Luminous or other games, but all right, that's kind of what I'm thinking, but we'll see what happens.
We'll do Luminous for the PSP.
I got to check if I have it. Or it might be on PC. Like
everything's on PC.
On like a browser thing, so we'll see. But yeah, it's a good game. It's fun. All right. Well, until we play some Luminous, this has been episode 373 of the Game Deflators podcast. My name's Jon.
And I'm Ryan.
And thanks for listening.